One of the biggest concerns that people have when considering moving to a developing country, and one that quite often stops them, is what are they going to do to provide for their families or for themselves and to make a living? Looking at the data from salaryexplorer.com and knowing what some of the people around us make, this is a very valid concern, especially if you want to make more than just barely making ends meet. And obviously, it is a third world country, so that is something to be concerned about. With $368.58 US being the minimum wage, this is barely going to do a little bit more than get you a either one-bedroom apartment or house with next to no yard or no yard at all, kind of depending on the neighborhood that you're in. According to salaryexplorer.com, out of the thousands of people that were surveyed, 20% of them make $680 per month or less, with a median income of $1,030. And if you have a family, then this is very difficult to do barely more than make ends meet. For example, someone starting out at a lower level in banking and accounting, say as a collections clerk, they will start at roughly $477 per month, and then someone who works their way up to a audit director would get at about $1,817 per month, just to give you an idea. And then there are jobs like labor factory jobs that around here that pay under $700 per month. If you've watched my Living Under $1,000 in Paraguay as a family of 5 video, you will know that this is not going to do very well when other things happen in life where expenses accumulate, unless you have had your chance to climb up the ladder. And if you haven't already watched it, that is a great one to watch after this. So what can you do to overcome this hurdle? Well, with today's age and internet, there are plenty of remote jobs to be had, which is a great option for Paraguay. It gives you a really flexible lifestyle and to get to know the culture more. And then depending on what kind of interests you have and what kind of money you might be bringing along, starting a business or going into farming may also be good options for you. A couple of the jobs that I've seen people do in an expat group that I'm in on Facebook is software engineering for companies that are located wherever they were coming from originally, or they start things like a tourism business or furniture building businesses, all sorts of things like that. Now, it is very important to do the homework first before starting a business. Some things to consider is the location and also what type of business it is that someone's wanting to start. We spoke to Mexican restaurant owners here in Campo Nueve, and they were saying that one of the struggles they were having is the business was liked by those who liked Mexican food, but that was a narrow niche and not easily accepted by the Paraguayans, who really like to stick with what they know, especially when it comes to food and anything to do with culture. We also did notice that one of the things that would have helped them more is advertising better. We never even heard of the restaurant except for from one person that we knew personally, but speaking to friends of ours that would have really enjoyed going to the restaurant, would never even heard of it. Their advertising just wasn't what it should have been. Here, you really cannot be shy with advertising. Also, during non-business hours, when driving by, you could barely even tell where the restaurant was. Everything was so closed up and they didn't really have signs outside, so that is something that would have helped dramatically. One of the biggest economic advantages that Paraguay has, and still has a lot of room to grow into, is farming. There is still so much land that is unused. From talking to the people that we know and that have about 20 hectares of land around their house that they use for farming, they make enough off of that on the side, having someone else farm it in many cases. They make enough to live off for the entire year if they want to live off $1,000 or less. With all that being said, for someone who is open-minded, patient, and is willing to pivot when needed, there are a lot of opportunities in Paraguay. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe and hit the like button, and I'll see you in the next one.